There are 12 toxic traits that Etsy sellers have that keep them from getting sales, and many sellers don't even realize they have them. I know that many people watching this video are feeling stuck on Etsy, and you have these big goals for your shop and maybe even dreams to quit your full-time job. But it seems like no matter what you do, you still can't seem to break that $5,000 a month on Etsy. Today, I'm going to break down the ways that you may be keeping your listings from being seen so that you can unlock Etsy success in 2025. These traits are something that you can fix immediately in your shop, and we have proof after helping over 4,000 sellers scale their shops that fixing these traits will change your shop's potential, and it will just take you 10 minutes per trait. So get ready. Let's start with toxic trait number 1, and this is chasing holidays. Now, if you do not have at least 100 sales or more in your shop, I recommend staying away from all seasonal holiday listings. Why is that? It's because chasing holiday listings is a start-stop strategy, and you're never able to build momentum this way because you're putting all of this effort into building traction based on listings that will die very quickly due to the nature of the product. I've seen so many of these shops that have little to no sales, and they're filled with holiday listings, and the runtime of those listings are like 6 weeks max. They become dead weight, and really they lower the shop's overall conversion rate. And a negative conversion rate in your shop will drag it into having a negative shop quality score. And this just means that anytime then you're posting new listings, even if they're good ones, Etsy is automatically giving them a disadvantage in search. Instead, while you're trying to get momentum in your shop, focus on building it with evergreen listings that do not have an impending date that they will die off. And this is the real way to build traction and to create a snowball effect of growth in your shop. So like this shop here, it has 2 sales and it is full of holiday. We have St. Patrick's Day, which is dead. We have Valentine's Day. We have Easter. If they're putting all this time and effort into creating new listings that only have a few weeks to sell, then they're constantly starting over, so they never actually get traction. Let's say this Easter listing did get 5 sales. Well, it doesn't matter because the revenue history behind that listing, it's gonna stop real quick. But what if I told you that your photos are your next toxic trait, specifically having too many props in your photos? Now, props can instantly date your products or make them look outdated very quickly. Here are some great examples of where props are really hurting the listings, like this one with the bright green plants in it and the cherry colored wood background. In this, we are seeing the same type of thing. You know, this could honestly look like it belongs in Anthropology if the photo was different. With print on demand, we see this as well. For example, with this listing, right? The whiskered kind of outdated denim with the outdated kind of wood panel background and then Converse. So instead, I recommend removing any props, even props that you think would be trendy right now, or at least ensure that you are changing out your thumbnail frequently enough so that you're never even as late as 1 season behind the trend with your photos props. And remember, props can be very polarizing. So Converse sneakers, red heels, farmhouse beads, distressed shiplap, eucalyptus. Now, it's great if you get the unnecessary props out of your photo, but the next toxic trait still relates to your pictures, and it is having the same mockups as all of the other print-on-demand shops. So if you find your mockups through Printify, or if they are on the first page of Etsy's mockups, you are too late. When you are looking for mockups, let's say you are looking for, let's look up the Gildan 18,000. Okay, so we do not want to go for the best seller mockup. Certainly not that, definitely not that. Anything with a bestseller or a popular now, don't do it. I actually recommend looking several pages down. Let's look at page 5, right? Something like that. Haven't seen much of that, right? That would be great for like a summer look. That is good. Now, some of these are obviously AI and you want to avoid that in your thumbnail. As you really dig in, you can find some good ones. Now, let's say you're like, I really love the mock-ups that are the best sellers. I love their photography style. Then what I recommend doing is going to that actual shop, sorting by most recent. Now you will see things that have sold most recently, but also things that were listed most recently. And this is a good way to see kind of what is up and coming, what is being innovated at maybe a shop that has a photography style that you like. Now, what are you supposed to do with your other mockups? Are they a waste of money? No, just don't have them as your main thumbnail image. So remember, if a mockup says bestseller or popular now, it means no, don't buy it, don't use it. Okay, so your photos may be fine now, but this next toxic trait is actually preventing you from getting getting traffic on Etsy, and it is using short tail keywords in your SEO. Now, I've seen this so many times, and it is preventing anyone from finding the listing. So short tail keywords are usually 2 words or less. So awesome shapes, pink coral, okay, beryl beads, Nigerian weddings, salmon coral beaded necklace. All right, there's one long tail keyword, 20 inches long. No one is searching that. Be different. No one is searching that. Note, shapes vary. No one is searching any of that. So the goal here needs to be to maximize the number of unique long tail keywords through overlapping. And the goal is 8 unique long tail keywords per listing. We have boho macrame wall hanging large wall art bedroom headboard alternative living room statement piece handmade tapestry bohemian, and bohemian home decor. So you can see there's so many overlapping long tail keywords here. And this is fantastic because it will maximize the number of unique search results that this listing will show up under. All right, the next toxic trait is what I see the least successful Etsy shops doing. And this is copying the SEO and the tags of bestseller listings. So let's say they're selling a mama shirt. They would look at what is a bestseller and they would just steal the titles and the tags. Sometimes they will even steal the descriptions. And they think that this will make them successful. When in fact, bad SEO is not what makes a bestseller listing a bestseller. That bestseller listing likely became that bestseller despite having bad SEO. And maybe it cemented its position at the top of search at a time when SEO wasn't what it's required to be today to succeed. In the past, you could get away with terrible SEO, but Etsy is constantly improving its ability to deliver the best search results to its customers. And that is why the SEO needs of this year are different than the SEO needs of 2020. So don't get caught in prioritizing the wrong thing and using an incorrect SEO strategy in your shop just because another listing used it. And in order to beat a bestseller listing that has bad SEO, you have to beat them with good SEO. And that can actually be the competitive advantage that will make you win. So it's important to recognize the SEO gap in a bestseller listing when you see it, because that is your way to compete and beat them. That is not the thing you should be copying. Now, you may not like hearing this, but the next toxic trait of your shop might actually be your ChatGPT descriptions. Yes, I said it. ChatGPT is notorious for spitting out these lengthy, flowery product descriptions that would actually bore shoppers to death and leave your listing with a high bounce rate and a low conversion rate. Now, how do we know this? We have helped at least 1,000 shops who've come in with these ChatGPT descriptions, more than double their conversion rate since implementing our description optimization strategies. And one of the biggest culprits of a low conversion rate in your listings would be your descriptions. Because if the photo was good enough to get them to click in, then losing the sale is often related to the other components of your listing. So stop using long, flowery ChatGPT descriptions and get back to the descriptions that will actually improve your conversion rate. Now, ChatGPT isn't always bad, but you really have to put in the time to become skilled with using it. And just taking whatever it spits out, it doesn't typically work. Now, let's talk about the biggest toxic trait as far as what you sell. And this is selling all of one type of product. Now, I have seen this so often, and I have to address this today. Usually it's t-shirts or sweatshirts or candles or wall art. And the seller is just cranking out that type of product and kind of in a rhythm doing so. But they're so caught on the product that they completely miss out on targeting a profitable customer. So they're filling the shop with candles, for example, and they're hoping someone wants them. But a one product strategy really doesn't lend itself to driving up the LTV, the lifetime value of the customer, or increasing multi-item orders, which drives up the AOV, the average order value. Having a one product shop also exposes your shop to risk. It's like a car dealership that only sells convertibles, right? Instead, you will want to build a product mix that serves your customers in many areas of their life for at least 4 to 7 years. That will bring your business stability, consistency, and longevity. Similar to the previous toxic trait, another toxic trait with your product mix is having only one POD supplier. All right, let's just say it. Everyone starts with Printify. And Printify is great, right? There's tons of YouTube tutorials. But what about the other guys? The other guys often have more unique products, and some of those products don't even look like print on demand. In fact, our top print on demand shops are doing over $100,000 per month, typically using 4 to 6 production partners. And if you need guidance on which production partners you might be missing out on, just reach out to us and we're happy to help. Now, the final final toxic trait that has to do with your product mix is how you choose your products. And this is by only selling what you like. I cannot count how many times I have seen a shop and seen that it was so obvious that the person literally just pulled these ideas out of their brain, thought it sounded cool, and put the listings up. Now, the problem with selling things that you like is that we have to ask ourselves if our taste is reflective of the type of profitable customer that we want to sell to. Because if we are not the profitable customer, we are better off removing the emotion and the personal taste from our product and design choices, and instead going after proven concepts. This is why we have what's called a 10-step opportunity checklist. And this is a 10-question list that tells you if an idea is worth your time. So stop filling your shop with only things that you think are cool and make sure that there is a customer outside of yourself that will pay what you're charging for that product. And we call that verifying product market fit with the 10-step opportunity checklist. Now, what if you've verified your product? Well, you still might have a toxic pricing trait. The toxic pricing trait is pricing like you have a track record when you have none. I see this all the time. When a shop puts their listings up, they put down what they think it's worth as the price, and then they wait to see who else thinks it's worth that too. Now remember, you will have different pricing strategies for different stages of your business. It's important to understand where we're starting from and then go from there. For example, we have a shop here, Funny Owl sweatshirt for $52, but it looks like it is probably a Gildan sweatshirt, which is a problem for that pricing when they have one sale. Or here's an example of a shop with 16 sales, but we are selling custom Pringles shakers for $78. No track record on this listing. Or even this one, right, where it's a coloring book for $5. Well, if we look up ABC coloring book, the shop only has one sale. Let's look up ABC coloring book. We are competing against options that are like $2, 52 pages, 99 cents. So even though it's only $5, does this example compete? The only worst thing you could do when it comes to pricing is this next toxic trait, and it's not calculating your gross margin dollars and hourly wage when you are pricing your products. Our income goal calculator and our profit calculator for our products is centered around hourly wage. This will also tell us if carrying a specific product long-term is worth our time. Hourly wage is essential when you consider your pricing because we want to be able to pay ourselves. We're actually taking into account the number of minutes for selling an item, even if it's only email or communication or Etsy messaging. Ultimately, cash flow matters. You're doing Etsy to make money, to create a lifestyle, to create options, and potentially financial freedom. So hourly wage is everything. And while your first 100 sales might yield minimum wage for you, you would want to eventually work towards over $100 per hour. Getting to over $100 per hour will allow you to hire and scale. Now, the final toxic trait is one of my favorites to diagnose when I first meet a new Etsy seller. This toxic trait is running ads to a product to figure out if people want it. This is one of the most expensive experiments that you could ever run. We do not want to use Etsy ads to establish product market fit. Why? First, you have to ensure that your listing is fully optimized in order to even have that ad show up under the right search results to the right customer. So this requires that you are really well versed with accurate listing optimization. The second reason is because this doesn't give you any qualitative feedback on your product itself. And if you have no sales on a listing, you need to get qualitative feedback in e-commerce because qualitative feedback will give you your next steps. You run ads to something it doesn't sell. How do you know what to change about that product? The customer isn't giving you that insight. Ads, it's simply quantitative feedback. It just says, yay, customers like it, or nay, they didn't like it, but you don't know why not. And having any decent feedback to work with really depends on you showing up in front of the right customers to begin with. Of course, if you're showing up to the wrong customers, no one will buy. The truth is, all of these toxic traits might be poisoning your shop right now, and they might have created a negative shop quality score if they've been going on for a while. So what you might need to do is rethink your shop a little bit and maybe even start over. And in this video, I'm showing you what I would sell on Etsy if I started over today. Go check it out.